Hey there folks, it's ZVZ for game number 3, Snute. It's being matched up against Nerchio. I don't see often enough for Acer, I suppose. I guess there's so much hype around Scarlet and innovation in MMA that it's a lot to see Nerchio get out there, lay it down. But it is ZVZ King Sejong, which sometimes turns into some crazy long Zerg versus Zergs. And it's interesting to see if games become not Roach on Roach, which if anybody else watches, Korean Starcraft with me, sometimes you'll see max supply Roach, like making 20 spine crawlers and canceling them so you can get even more Roach, and then just running your Roach into more Roach. Almost never getting into hive tech or anything. And then once in a while I see like a European game where it's like, hey, let's try getting into some swarm host on swarm host, and then you want to pull your hair out. Let alone broodlord on broodlord, where you just have this endless field of broodlings mulching on each other. Anyways, I don't know if the game's going to get to something like that. We will find out. Nothing crazy coming out for either of these players as an opening. Thought maybe one of them would try a 12 pool or something kind of funky just to throw it out there a bit. Come back here. Anybody else watching the World Cup? Actually, as I'm casting this, Argentina just went up 1-0 over Switzerland. We'll see if they can bring him back here or not. There's been some great drama in these games here. So we're going to have Pool first versus Hatch first. The age-old Zerg versus Zerg battle. And once again, I'm a little surprised neither player wanted to go for something funky, like a Zergling, baneling, all-in kind of rush of some sort. And not even any gas for either player either. And, that's not necessarily a problem. It's only a problem if the other person rushes for it and you don't do anything about it. There's our gas going down on that side. I'm probably going to expect Nerchio to get himself out some pretty soon as well. Nerchio's got some pretty crazy Zerg versus Zerg that I've really enjoyed casting in the past. See what kind of strategies he brings out. His gas is slightly behind. A couple of his Zerglings coming out for Nerchio. Likely just going to go and do some scouting. Oh man, Switzerland just hit the post. Do better. Do more things. He's going to move his Overlord over in position to see when the third base is going to be happening. And queens are in production. Obviously, Nerchio's queens are going to be out slightly faster because of his pool, but his hatch will be delayed. Not too much else to really note at this point here. You don't really see too many times where people go for really fast, third hatch builds. But in the ZVZ matchup, it generally comes down to a fight for who gets out that third hatchery first. The scout will happen here for Nerchio. Queen will be in position to help take out these Zerglings. There's not too much else to really scout other than is there gas and how many gases are there. He didn't see the spawning pool researching anything. These guys are almost identically timed. Like 6-second difference here. We see the baneling nest going down for Snute. Now we'll see if this is for aggression or just for defense. Both baneling nests here. So we're going to get into the super funky baneling on baneling action. Let's take a look at our drone count here. Pretty much identical. Nobody's been able to get in any damage or get any points in on anybody, so I'm not expecting anything weird. It's interesting to note that the baneling nest is a bit more hidden from Nerchio. A lot of the times in this kind of setup, you can use your baneling nest as part of your wall to help deflect attacks. And one spine going down. I'm kind of expecting to see, with the spine crawler going down, Snute want to be a bit more defensive. He's getting a couple banelings at home, spine crawler, and pretty much a wall off here. It's kind of telling me that he just doesn't really want anybody to come and crap on him anytime too soon. One Evo chamber on this side. A few more Zerglings being made for both players, but it's also mixed in with a bunch of drones. So a lot of this is feinting aggression, just being able to see if, in fact, a lot of these players are going to take a stab at it. Overlord's in good position here. Snute, I don't think, has actually moved any of his overlords really out. His map vision is quite low. No, he's got one over here. Good. I was about to say, that would have been really, really ridiculous for a player at this level to not have his map vision out. Roach warned for both players. We see the lair started much earlier for Snute. Hatcheries at about the same level. The difference is that Snute really doesn't have much to defend this hatchery just yet. A few more Zerglings and banelings on the way. You should be able to hold it together. It's not really that many Zerglings from either player to do anything about it. Actually, a big pile of Zerglings coming out right now from Nerchio. We'll see if he... Whoa. Nice baneling hit. If you can get the cancel on your opponent's third, you're doing fantastic. A couple of Zerglings heading back the other direction here. Fighting in the middle are outnumbered horribly, so they don't really want to stay around there. He's going to have to regroup around his banelings. Sometimes you can get lucky coming up these ramps here, so we'll see. Nerchio, for instance, is going all around the long way. Make sure he doesn't run up the ramp and potentially hit a baneling and get smoked. Lair is finishing up for both players at about the same time. We see Roach speed and +1, whereas the Zerg Nerchio is going for more of the carapace side, which benefits both, so that makes sense. Now the best detonations. Going for pure baneling defense isn't necessarily the wisest way to do that. You don't really trade very cost effectively. Could snipe a queen if he was paying a bit more attention. Is he going to try? Nope. Still putting on pressure. Now that roaches are going to start coming out, he's going to be in a pretty good position here. He could try to run by, but it's a pretty big risk if he go into there and gets shut down. Couple banelings on the top of the ramp. Supply-wise, we can see Nerchio's got a pretty good lead in the workers right now. Not an amazing trade there. 2 for a baneling is a good trade, but it looks like he will be able to save it. Oh, no, he won't. Bit of a misclick there from Nerchio. One guy's droning, the other guy's getting the roaches. Unit count-wise, roach count is equal right now, but we're about to see Nerchio take a lead in that. Extra queens out right now for Snute. This is a bit unfortunate. I don't know if he doesn't have enough overlords in the right spot, but he's not really seeing these come in. Maybe a couple of overlords over on this side would really help him know if these little run-bys are going to happen. This queen, for instance, is going to probably get sniped here in just a second. And there it goes. I said that was an easy pick-off. Even I could see that one coming. More overlords coming across the map. Looked like it might have been a bad rally, but he's going to split them up now and give him get more map vision. Was kind of hoping it'd go into Spire Tech. I haven't seen some good Muta play ZVZ in a while, but it's just not necessarily that practical. Hydralist Den going out for Nerchio. And I hear a lot of people say that's a mistake this early in the game. Like, generally you're going to want to max out on roaches and maybe only fit in a handful of hydras in the background. Losing another queen here. Bit sloppy here by Snute, actually, losing those units. He's going to get himself... No, he's not even going to get that roach. Burrow is also something that I figured these guys might try. He's getting baneling speed. And banelings are going to... I don't like when people use banelings to try to take on roaches. I mean, every now and then you'll get sick hits and then, you know, you just crush everything. But every once in a while you don't get sick hits and then you just straight up lose because you spent all of your larva on Zerglings and banelings. Now once again, there's no vision over here for Snute. He's just not spreading his overlords well enough. Looks like he will see now that this is under attack. Maybe he's waiting to trap them up there. One roach gets picked off and gives up the game that Snute knows what's going on. We see this great overlord spread, this arc from Nerchio, let him know everything that's happening. This one overlord's just chilling in a pretty crazy spot there. Will get sniped down, but not gonna be too big of a deal. Bit of a bank starting up right now for Snute. Pretty close to maxed. But he's still got a lot of these banelings and zerglings kicking around, which once again I don't really think are going to pay off big when this comes to an actual attack. 2-2 on the way right now for Nerchio, where it's just 0-2. So the upgrades essentially cancel out right now, but in a very short time we're going to see that Nerchio's going to take a pretty big lead in the upgrades there. Now against the hydras, banelings are awesome. It's just whether or not you can actually get to the hydras. A baneling hit in there might not be a bad idea either. The banelings don't turn out well. Big arc down here. And Snute's just getting pummeled right now in this position. Bad micro there. He's going to lose a few more units as well. On this side, even if he ran in a few banelings and killed off the mineral line, that would have worked better than that attack. That turned out really bad for Snute. He's actually getting some of the weaker roaches down here. Getting the hydras would be smart. Get the hydras. There you go. Overseers are with the army. You need the overseers just to make sure that you can see any burrow play. Should be able to get a cancel on his base if he wants to. Oh, doesn't actually have enough time here. This would be a great place to hit with some banelings if he could sneak around and get to those hydras. He would kill that fight. But we can see a big supply lead now for Nerchio. He's going to have a +1 armor lead as soon as his +2 finishes there. +1's about to finish up for his opponent. Just snipe down that spine pretty easy. And Nerchio's just controlling the map, bouncing back and forth as he sees fit. Maybe that's the difficulty with taking this base, is yeah, it means you can kind of defend through this gap. The other problem is that, oh, good baneling hits on some of those hydras. This engagement might be a bit better for Snute, but the reinforcements coming in for Nerchio. Zerglings tanking a bit of damage. Nerchio is actually doing a pretty good job with this fight. He is down in upgrades just slightly, but he took that fight very well. I don't think he might have been able to come up here and get this base. That would have been difficult. In this kind of game, ZVZ is this tug-of-war kind of style. If you find yourself overextending just once, you can just get trounced. No more commitment into banelings here. Actually, we see a huge pile of Zerglings. I stand corrected. He's got a lot of gas able to use here as well, so we'll see if he still wants to try to run the banelings into this. Do we have much for hydras in this comp anymore? I don't think so. So he's got the one in there. He's making a few more, and that's more along the lines where I think is a bit more correct. Is just a sprinkling of hydras in there for the DPS in the back. So you need the tanking units of the roaches up front. So many banelings coming in here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this style works out well. I've just seen it too many times get shut down because it doesn't hit the right spot. 5th base on the way. I'd love to just see some run-bys by these players too. Like if you got some Zerglings, make 8 Zerglings and send them down here. Just as you see in the pro level with the Roach burrow play, get burrow 4 roaches and unburrow them in the different mineral fields all around the map. That would kill in this position. You can see most of these guys have no defenses. Well, the banelings killed all the banelings. That was a thing. This is not a great concave here. Actually getting a few workers in that play as well. Banelings don't connect super poorly. These banelings are all clumped up. Those were pretty decent hits. Snute's actually making this work. This is where burrow would be nice for some of these mega destroyed roaches. And I'd like to see him, just like I said, run a few roaches into the mineral lines just so he can get that damage in. Doesn't quite have enough roaches. He is going to back off. Banelings morphing in not the ideal spot, unfortunately. I don't know if he needs more banelings. You want those banelings to like crush the hydras, and right now Nerchio's not going to be making any more hydras. These banelings don't even have any weapon upgrades right now. Yeah, when a roach does 20 damage and a baneling does 20 damage, I mean, you'd kind of just rather get more of those roaches out there. A little bit more cost effective. All these bases are essentially undefended. All corners. As soon as you can start hitting people up with just different little run-bys, what you end up getting out of that is just some really, really good... That was walking into the sickest concave. That was a YOLO attack. He didn't even wait for his +2 to finish. It was very YOLO. I don't know. Snute does have more supply. These Zerglings are actually coming in here and being pesky, soaking up some of the damage here for the Roaches to do more damage. All these hatches from Nerchio are really giving him a good opportunity to just max up fast. Lots and lots of larvae on the map. Big supply lead right now for Snute. So once again, he's playing it right. I didn't think the banelings were going to pay off. I don't think they did in this last attack. There's no hydras in here. They're not getting in the damage they need to. Couple of spines going down. Bit of a desperation thing, but spines have a little bit of extra range. Great little things to mix in when you have these kind of fights. And this is where Burrow also, once again, for its price, regenerate all these roaches up. Be in a better spot. Units wise, you see the economy lead is for Snute, the hatch lead is for Snute. Tech wise, I believe they're on the exact same upgrades. There's hydras coming back once again for Nerchio. But with your opponent going into all these baneling plays, I'm a bigger fan of just getting more roaches. Or if you're behind, do what Stefano does. Get yourself out a bunch of swarm hosts and start killing them with free units. I don't think Snute should attack up this concave again. If he just runs back around underneath and goes for other bases, that's going to be way more effective. Force your opponent to come fight on your level. But at this point, Snute has to attack. I mean, he's got a lead, he's maxed, and he's getting no more advantages right now. The longer he waits, the more he should expect that his opponent is going to get stronger. Great little spread at the top here from Nerchio. I was about to say, I don't agree with him coming down the ramp at all. More banelings being morphed. That's so many banelings. Blammo. Let's go to the units tab here. 46 roaches versus 47. Banelings. Did well. Oh, the mineral line. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, man. See, like, the banelings, yes, they did well. Yeah, I can't really argue with that, I suppose. He did kick butt. Good game out of Snute there. Showed me something. Proved me wrong. That's the important thing. Takes the lead right now for Team Liquid. 2-1 over Acer. SeKo Starcraft. We'll talk with everybody in game number 4.